Chapter 61 Suffering. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mirror. Fugaku's gaze hardened. Without these eyes, you wouldn't know a regular Sharingan from a Mangekyo. Asterisk whoosh, star. An invisible force sliced through the air, striking Fugaku and felling dozens of massive trees. Asterisk boom, star. Next time, I won't be so polite. Fugaku's expression darkened as a chilling aura emanated from him, a bestial roar echoed as a deep purple chakra materialized, engulfing his body, blood tears streamed from one eye, and black flames ignited from thin air. Amaterasu, star. The fierce god that dwells within the Mangekyo is called Susanoo. The ultimate destructive power of our clan. Uchiha Kagami, if that's what you want, then witness my full power. The Susanoo's upper half materialized in the black flames, a demonic, godlike figure. Fugaku didn't just summon the Susanoo, he blanketed the battlefield with Amaterasu's inextinguishable black flames. These flames will never die. Spare me the introductions. Uchiha Kagami raised a hand, effortlessly cutting off the black flames that threatened to engulf him. You didn't use it directly on me. You've got some battle sense, I'll give you that. Fugaku remained silent. Amaterasu was supposed to incinerate everything, but he knew it took time to lock onto a target. That time was so short that ordinary ninja couldn't react, but Uchiha Kagami, known as the Scarlet Eyes, the epitome of the Sharingan, there's no way he couldn't evade it, so, instead of directly attacking Kagami, the best approach was to shape the battlefield with Amaterasu, keeping Kagami at bay with that fearsome close-quarters combat, at medium to long range, dodging. With the Mangekyo's power wasn't difficult. Maybe he didn't need to dodge at all. Uchiha Kagami, you can't break my Susanoo. Kagami, I won't kill you, but I need to make you understand. Who is the head of the Uchiha clan? Fugaku didn't crave the position of clan leader, he was willing to pass it on to talented younger members. But being willing and being forced out were two different things. Uchiha Kagami had grown too powerful in recent years, and the clan's power dynamics were shifting, industries and holdings were secondary. The real issue was, more and more clan members were embracing Kagami's ideas and joining the radicals. Fugaku foresaw Konoha launching a purge of the Uchiha after the war, he had to reverse the tide before that happened. Crack! The sound of shattering Susanoo interrupted Fugaku's thoughts. Uchiha Kagami hadn't even activated his Sharingan, a slash wreathed in crimson flames effortlessly dispelled the black flames, cleaving the Susanoo in half. Fugaku's eyes widened in shock and confusion, the scene before him defying comprehension. His raised finger remained frozen as Kagami's emotionless voice cut through the air. Compared to that guy's Susanoo, there's no comparison, really. Susanoo is the ultimate Uchiha technique. It's a travesty for you to wield it. Uchiha Kagami advanced, the all-consuming black flames unable to touch him, repelled by an unseen force. Fugaku wasn't injured by the shattered Susanoo, but the destruction of his strongest defense left him reeling, unable to process the sheer power gap. 3 Tomo spun in his eyes, but Uchiha Kagami's gaze held no hint of a victor's pride. He stopped close to Fugaku. Is that all? How boring. Not the end yet, star. It can't end like this, star. Uchiha Kagami. I wield the Mangekyo, star. A blood-red light erupted, turning the world into black and white. Tsukuyami, Mangekyo-level technique, it not only predicts future possibilities, but drags people into this illusionary world, where it grinds away at their mental fortitude. The cost of constructing this illusion is borne by the victim. Even senior Nara clan ninja skilled in Een release couldn't last more than a few seconds. Within the illusion, it's a bloody night filled with carnage. Ninja wearing Umbu masks stormed the Uchiha compound, slaughtering everyone in sight. In the distance, the nine-tailed fox roared. Fugaku spread his arms, shouting, "You see it? Kagami. Even if I controlled the nine-tails like Uchiha Madara, the Uchiha clan couldn't win. Konoha would be devastated, but our entire clan would be wiped out. Is this the future you want?" Uchiha Kagami felt his chakra being drained. A drop in the bucket, star. The technique had its merits, but, using it on him? Was that a joke? Uchiha Kagami chuckled, a hint of contempt in his voice. Your premise is wrong. There's no way you could do what Madara did. You're not even worthy to speak that name. My apologies. I misjudged you. You're not speculating about the future based on knowledge. It's pure, the delusion of an incompetent man. Uchiha Kagami clenched his fist gently. In an instant, the black and white world shattered. Cough, Fugaku, reeling from the illusion's backlash, coughed up blood, utterly defeated. The shock in his eyes was beyond words. How, why? I have the Mangekyo. Uchiha Kagami stepped on Fugaku's throat, no longer interested in listening to him. I intended to kill you. You're cowardly and incompetent, death would be a mercy. Uchiha Kagami extended a finger, and Fugaku, pinned beneath his foot, couldn't scream. 2 bloodied eyeballs rested in his palm. You don't deserve these eyes. Stay alive, watch, no, listen to the Uchiha I lead, and watch us become the strongest in the ninja world. From this moment on, you are no longer the head of the Uchiha clan, and you are forbidden to leave the Uchiha compound. Uchiha Kagami leaned in, whispering softly in Fugaku's ear. I'm not giving you death. I'm giving you suffering. Pain, sorrow, despair. The onslaught of emotion caused Uchiha Fugaku to lose consciousness. Uchiha Kagami raised a hand, and 2 figures appeared instantly, Xuanhua and Yunjian, elite Uchiha who had experienced the baptism of war, selected by Uchiha Kagami, serving in a capacity similar to guards. He tossed Fugaku's eyes to Xuanhua. Take Fugaku back and entrust his eyes to Xinhua for safekeeping. Yunjian, inform the clan. From now on, I am the head of the Uchiha clan. Chapter 62 Each Choice. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Fugaku left with the 2 guys, Jiraiya ambled over. Being one of the legendary Sannin, Jiraiya couldn't miss all the commotion. Kagami Uchiha knew he was there, and didn't bother to hide it. It was like giving Minato a choice Jiraiya owed him, and Kagami Uchiha was extending an olive branch. Fugaku had the same chance, but he blew it. Jiraiya's eyes were filled with conflicted emotion as he stared at Kagami Uchiha, his mind racing. The Sharingan's glow faded from Kagami's eyes, and he turned, chuckling. Jiraiya-sensei. Jiraiya flashed back to the boy who'd called him teacher with a beaming smile years ago. It felt like a lifetime ago. Kagami, does this have to happen? That if Fugaku could see the writing on the wall, Jiraiya sure could. After this battle, the Uchiha and the village would never see eye to eye again. Kagami Uchiha, leader of the radicals, was now in charge. There was a chance for peace once, but Tobirama Senju slammed the door on it. That I get it, but, my student against my teacher. Jiraiya was silent for a long, long time. Kagami. His expression was a twisted mess, half smiling, half crying. Tsunade's gone. I'm hitting the road after this war. Forgive me, Kagami. Your teacher's a coward, doesn't have the guts to stand with you. Just. Konoha will survive, right? So, that's your choice. Teacher Jiraiya. Absolutely. The Uchiha were there from the beginning, building Konoha. I just want to get back what's rightfully ours. Jiraiya let out a sigh of relief. Let Orochimaru deal with the rest, he's the one who wants to be Hokage anyway. Damn, I wanted you to help me pick up chicks in the village, but you were always too restless. Fugaku got banged up on the front lines, he's heading back to the village to recuperate. I'll let the old man know. Jiraiya stepped forward, wanting to ruffle Kagami's hair. Realizing the guy was almost as tall as him now, he settled for a pat on the shoulder. Alright, let's go. I'll show you how I'm tweaking the Rasengan. A month crawled by. Western Front, the Land of Wind declared defeat months ago, and the Sand Village offered an alliance to Konoha. Since it wasn't an outright surrender, there was no treaty requiring compensation. Konoha was already stretched thin fighting on all fronts, so even though they knew the Sand Village was in no shape to send troops, a ceasefire would allow them to redeploy forces to the battle with the Stone Village and ease the pressure. Konoha agreed. So, the Land of Wind, who started the war, was the first to tap out of the Third Great Ninja War and lick its wounds in the desert. In the command center, Konoha's top brass gathered: Orochimaru, Minato Namikaze, Kushina Uzumaki, Team Asuma, Ino Shikacho, Yuhi Kurenai, Sarutobi Konohamaru. The Uchiha and Hyuga were on the eastern front, while Jiraiya, Kagami Uchiha, and others were on the northern front. Most of Konoha's heavy hitters were here. Minato Namikaze looked grim. He only found out about what happened to Kakashi after the fact. He'd been pinned down fighting the Stone Village and couldn't do anything about it. With the Mist Village joining the fight, the eastern front was a mess. If it wasn't for Nara Shikaku's genius, the Mist Village probably would have already invaded the Land of Fire. Every ninja Konoha could muster had been sent out, and every family had lost someone. War sucks. Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't handle the losses anymore and decided to mass the troops for a final showdown with the Stone Village. The entire army would gather at the Kagami Bridge, where Sarutobi Hiruzen would be waiting. This battle would decide the fate of the Land of Fire. If they could crush the numerically superior Stone Village head-on, they could focus on the Cloud Village. Once their hands were free, they wouldn't have to sweat the mist coming across the sea. On the other side of the Kagami Bridge, a cloud of dust filled the sky. It had to be from the massive Stone Village force. The Stone Village couldn't afford a drawn-out war with Konoha. They didn't have the resources. Truth be told, this war was Inoki trading the Stone Village's broken-down horses for Konoha's top-of-the-line steeds. He wouldn't be heartbroken if a few grunts died, especially since Konoha had so many clan members. Besides, the Stone Village was in transition. If he could spot some talent in the war, he could nurture them. Soon, Sarutobi Hiruzen appeared in full battle dress and pushed open the tent flap. Lord Hokage. Sandaime-sama. You're here, Sandaime. With you leading the charge, we can't lose. Third generation old man, you actually showed up. That the constant battles of his youth had aged Sarutobi Hiruzen before his time, but his reign wasn't over yet. When he stepped onto the battlefield, the whole mood changed in an instant. Most of them had grown up on the stories of Sarutobi Hiruzen, and they had mad respect for the ninja legend. Even a guy like Orochimaru felt a sense of comfort seeing Sarutobi Hiruzen. With the old man around, everything would be alright. He was the man who ended two great ninja wars and ushered Konoha into its golden age. Orochimaru, Minato, what's the situation? Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't put too much stock in intel. In war, the judgment of the commander on the ground was all that mattered. 3 days ago, the Stone Village launched a full-scale attack with about 15,000 troops, and their Jinchuriki also joined the fray. Orochimaru's voice was raspy. He hadn't had any sleep in a week. Kushina's the only thing keeping us from getting steamrolled. Intel says that an even larger Stone Village force is gathering at the Kagami Bridge. I see. Looks like old man Inoki wants to wrap this up too. He and Inoki were old rivals. They'd butted heads at the tail end of World War I and throughout the Second Ninja War. They'd traded blows on the battlefield, but Konoha always came out on top. It wasn't a bitter rivalry. After all, the Stone Village had been the aggressor. Inoki hated the Third Reikage even more. If that hothead hadn't pushed for cooperation, he'd still want to throw down with the Third Reikage, but at the end of the day, it was because Kagami Uchiha stood his ground against his dust release and killed the previous Eight-Tails Jinchuriki that the Cloud Village and Stone Village had teamed up in the first place. After getting the lay of the land, Sarutobi Hiruzen went over the battle plans. He seemed to have a better grasp on things than Orochimaru and pointed out a few areas that needed work. His eyes darted between Orochimaru and Minato. Once this war's over, it'll be time for me to step down. I need to hand the village over to a worthy fourth Hokage. But he thought about the message Jiraiya sent from the northern front. Fugaku. He wanted to check on Fugaku in the Uchiha compound and figure out what was going on, but a bunch of Uchiha, led by Shinhwa, stopped him. A bunch of guys with bloodshot eyes, either old or crippled, and Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't bring himself to force his way in. Danzo was AWOL again. He'd deal with these problems after the war. He couldn't leave them for the fourth Hokage. Kagami, you blew the last chance I gave you. Chapter 63 Naruto. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The wind howled. At opposite ends of the massive Kagami Bridge stood the elite ninja forces. Well, Sarutobi Hiruzen, long time no see. Anoki hovered in the air, with Huangtu, Lao Zi, and other Iwagakure leaders beside him. Behind them, the deep forest was obscured by a cloud of dust and sand. The tension was palpable. Sarutobi Hiruzen narrowed his eyes, sensing something off about Anoki, but masters at their level couldn't hide their true selves, so this feeling had to be. Anoki's gaze turned icy as he spotted Kushina in the crowd. You've really been a pain in our sides, girl. Guess the Uzumaki clan just won't stay buried. Ever since he learned from the third Reikage that Konoha's Ninetales Jinchuriki was a red-haired woman, he'd been furious. He'd been nursing a grudge ever since. You old geezer. What did you just say? Kushina's red hair flared out as violent chakra surged from her, nearly knocking over those around her. Faint whisker-like marks appeared on her cheeks. Calm down, Kushina. Minato quickly stepped to her side, offering reassurance. Even though there was no immediate danger of her losing control, the Kyuubi could still influence her if she got too worked up. He's just trying to get under your skin. Don't take the bait. While comforting her, Minato prepared to help seal the Ninetales if necessary. Kushina took deep breaths, trying to regain her composure. She glared at Anoki, her voice frigid. You old man, I swear I'll kill you. That's enough, Anoki. Sarutobi Hiruzen said sternly, act with a little more Kage-like dignity. Since it's come to this, I won't bother trying to talk you down. Poof, Denma materialized as a Rui stick in Sarutobi Hiruzen's hand. He took a fighting stance. This time, you're going to lose again. Looking at Anoki, who remained unmoved, a smile playing on his lips, Sarutobi Hiruzen felt a growing sense of foreboding. I'm not interested in you, old man Hiruzen. Anoki sneered, you've disappointed me. Letting that Uchiha brat grow up. I never wanted to do you any favors, like dealing with Uchiha. You should be thanking me. Remember when we helped you conquer the Whirlpool country, clearing the way for you to raise the last of the Uzumaki clan? Thump. A heartbeat echoed across the battlefield. Sarutobi Hiruzen turned to Kushina, shouting, Kushina. We didn't have time to worry about the Whirlpool country's affairs. Even Konoha was at war. Lord Mito knew about this too. Thump. Kushina clutched her head, strands of red chakra leaking out. I know. Grandma Mito told me. Minato. Get Kushina out of here. We can't afford to have her here right now. Sarutobi Hiruzen made a snap decision. Kushina couldn't stay. If the nine-tailed fox went berserk, it would be a disaster for both Konoha and Iwagakure. Damn it, this is exactly why I didn't want to deploy the Ninetales Jinchuriki on the battlefield. The nine-tailed fox is too uncontrollable. Sarutobi Hiruzen glared at Anoki. Bang. 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 The Iwagakure elites around Anoki vanished one by one. It's shadow clones, a diversion. Impossible. The one Yenian we found were definitely the real deal. Anoki crossed his arms, his expression serious. How many of us went to the Kumogakure battlefield? How many sneaked into Konoha? Behind me are 15,000 rock ninjas, and they're all ready to take you down with them. You can try to have that flying thunder god brat chase us, but we won't be easy to catch. We haven't gone far yet. Ha ha. Shut up. The Rui stick shot out, but Anoki didn't flinch. With a final smile, he spoke his last words. Kushina, why are you the only one who survived? Because you're the only one who's suitable to be the Ninetales Jinchuriki. With a poof, Anoki's shadow clone disappeared. Boom. A black and red chakra column erupted into the sky. Kushina. Minato shouted her name, pressing down on her from behind, desperately trying to reinforce the seal. 3 tails. Minato. I know. Kushina's voice was hoarse. I know this isn't Konoha's fault, but why am I the only one who survived? Didn't the old man tell you? Because you're the only one who can be my cage. You think Sarutobi Hiruzen is a good guy? If he could save you, why couldn't he save one more person? Let me out, and I'll help you kill all those who destroyed the Whirlpool Kingdom, asterisk of course, before that, I'll have to kill Uchiha Madara's reincarnation first, star. The Kyuubi was ecstatic, what a perfect opportunity to break free. Kushina had gradually grown accustomed to life in Konoha. As she matured, she'd be able to completely suppress the Kyuubi, but that depended on her emotional stability. To restrain the nine-tailed fox, you can't just lock it up and forget about it. Without inner resolve, the nine-tailed fox could find a way out at any time. The seal on Naruto was a souped-up version of the 8-trigram seal, with Minato's own chakra acting as the final lock inside. Even with all those precautions, half of the nine-tailed fox could still influence Naruto when he was emotionally unstable. Defeating the nine-tailed fox and sealing it away are two entirely different things. Think of it like this. You can stab someone to death with a knife, but tying him up is a whole other challenge. If we weren't worried about using the power of the tailed beasts, the amber purifying pot from the hidden cloud village would be the perfect suppressor. After all, it was one of the 6 paths ninja tools. Now, Iwagakure ninjas were charging, stretching as far as the eye could see. All the Konoha ninjas turned to Sarutobi Hiruzen, awaiting his orders. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face was grim. Kushina needed to calm down, but Iwagakure had already launched their attack, and there was no time, and the whereabouts of Inoki and the others were critical. Jiraiya. The village, Star, Koharu and Danzo were in the village, so even if Inoki targeted the village, they could hold him off for a while. But what about the hidden cloud battlefield? If Inoki went there, he must have spoken with the third Raikage. Taking a deep breath, he made his decision. Kushina. Calm down. You, Minato, and Orochimaru, head to the northern battlefield. Sarutobi Hiruzen roared. Jiraiya, Jing, countless Konoha ninjas are counting on you. This is the village Mito-sama protected her entire life. No matter what you think, Mito-sama's love for you was real. Jounin squads, leave 3 in command, and the rest, return to the village. Sarutobi Hiruzen faced forward, gripping the Rui stick. If I die here, appoint Orochimaru as the 4th Hokage. Execute the order. Chapter 64 Thunder. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The northern border of the Fire Nation, dozens of ninjas wearing Kumogakure headbands stood at the edge of the cliff. The third Raikage led the group. These were the absolute elite of the hidden cloud village. Even the weakest were special jonin with unique abilities, including AB combinations with greatly enhanced strength. The 8 tails had revived faster than expected, reappearing at Yunlei Waterfall in the Land of Lightning. After successfully subduing it, Killer Bee had taken it upon himself to become its Jinchuriki, inheriting the pain his master had endured. Kurabi was an unprecedented genius in Kumogakure, achieving the perfect Jinchuriki state that only existed in theory. AI stared at the Konoha camp in the distance. Father, Uchiha Kagami has returned, and a large force of Konoha ninjas has gathered in the Land of Grass. Can we trust the source who gave us this intel? The third Raikage, arms crossed, calmly stated. Inoki received the same information. Not many people are capable of pulling this off. It's likely the same guy who fed us intel years ago. Lurking in the shadows and stirring up trouble. As they talked, a sound like a whistling wind came from above the clouds. Inoki arrived with 2 figures, Lao Zi and Han, 2 Kage, 3 Jinchuriki, and dozens of powerful ninjas. This lineup was even more impressive than the one that hunted down the 2nd Hokage. Do we really need to sacrifice this many ninjas just to take out one kid? Lao Zi looked uneasy. He disagreed with Inoki's decision. If the 4 tails inside him hadn't been going ballistic, he'd still be on the front lines. It's worth it. Inoki said grimly, I'm convinced that guy will become another Uchiha Madara. Killing him now at this price is a worthwhile investment. It's not a sure thing that we'll lose over there. Maybe the 9 tails will go wild and wipe out everyone in Konoha first. Besides, I've already instructed Huetu to retreat when the losses reach a certain point. You cheapskate, you just abandoned them, man. Oh yeah. Inoki glared at Killer Bee, then turned his gaze to the third Raikage. What were you thinking, saddling this guy with the 8 tails? My comrade is none of your business. The third Raikage scoffed, if Ushiki hadn't said that kid had too much control over his Jinchuriki, I wouldn't have cooperated with a slimy old man like you. Uncle Reikage, Hachi told me you can't call him that, you gotta call him Yabisama. That doesn't rhyme, you idiot. Shut up, boom, star, the third Reikage punched Killer B into the ground, AI sighed and pulled his brother out. B, quiet down. The nations of Iwa and Kumo had always been at odds, sometimes stabbing each other in the back even when fighting Konoha together. Lately, both sides had been very restrained, focusing on a shared target they both wanted dead. It was an alternative way of resolving their own issues. Let's discuss the battle plan. Inoki sighed. If he hadn't been traumatized as a child, he wouldn't want to work with the reckless guys from Kumogakure. You need a plan, that the third Reikage frowned. We've gathered this much power, we could take down even the first Hokage, that's why I hate working with these guys. Hashirama Senju had defeated Uchiha Madara, and Inoki couldn't even imagine how powerful that guy must have been. Only someone who's never seen real power would say something like that. Inoki didn't argue. He knew how to deal with a guy like that. Beating him is doable, but we need to make sure he stays down. From what I've gathered, this kid's personality is a lot like Uchiha Madara. He doesn't care about his comrades at all, so threatening him with them won't work. We need to kill him with one decisive strike and not give him a chance to escape. Konoha has someone who can use the Flying Thunder God technique. If he shows up to rescue Uchiha Kagami, we won't get another chance like this. You've seen how fast that kid is growing. How old is he now? If we let him get away, we'll have endless trouble. Then tell me what to do. I'll listen and then decide whether to take your advice or not. Can't you just admit you're a meathead with no constructive ideas? **tisk, those Cloud Village guys only use their brains when they're trying to steal something. Inoki coughed and continued, the safest way is for you to attack first, and I'll attack after you've engaged him. 2 seconds. He'll definitely sense the charge of dust release, which will lock him down for at least 2 seconds. I can obliterate him with dust release. Basically, Kumogakure would be used as bait, while Inoki held back his ultimate attack. The Reikage narrowed his eyes at Inoki. I know you're up to no good, but I'm not as underhanded as you are. Fine. Let's go, boom, the third Reikage, crackling with lightning, shot forward. The force shook the cliff. Inside his tent, Uchiha Jing was reading by candlelight. There were many ancient books in the ninja world that could inspire him, detailing the application of chakra and offering wild ideas about ninjutsu. You could see traces of the ninja clan's existence in them. Countless ninjas had spent thousands of years developing a complete system, capable of almost anything with chakra. Even Senju Tobirama, no matter how talented, couldn't have invented those forbidden techniques out of thin air. The legacies left behind by the Senju clan for millennia were his foundation. The Uchiha had similar resources, if not more. After all, Indra was the originator of the concept of ninjutsu. Uchiha Madara hadn't taken away many of the obscure or incomplete techniques, which were very valuable as reference material. Damn it, last time I was too busy complaining about the dark, damp cave to copy the books Madara took. But Uchiha Kagami wasn't in a hurry. He wasn't even sure if he could get them by asking Madara. Wait until Obito inherits, then I'll just snatch them. Might as well grab a few living white Zetsu while I'm at it. Just thinking about it made him excited. Something entered his range of perception. A sharp edge, revealed. Uchiha Jing smiled. You're finally here. I've been waiting for you. A streak of blue lightning sliced through the night. Suddenly, an urgent alarm rang out in the camp. The figure wreathed in lightning was approaching rapidly. Uchiha Jing slashed through the tent and stood on top. 3 tomos slowly rotated in his eyes, and a flash of scarlet blazed. Little brat. I finally found you. You killed Blooby. Die. Lightning crackled on his fingers, blindingly bright. Hell stab, 4-finger spear hand. Uchiha Jing remained silent, black and red lightning flashing on his clenched fists. Black flash. The azure blue collided with the black and red lightning. All sound ceased. Boom boom boom. A powerful shockwave then tore through the entire camp like a hurricane. Chapter 65 Substitution. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Exploding lightning bolts crackled everywhere, tents nearby were shredded, and the ground spiderwebbed with cracks like spreading roots. Thunder and lightning slammed together, shaking the whole damn area. They'd clashed dozens of times in just a few seconds. Uchiha Jing was the first to back off, instantly teleporting himself to the top of a huge tree. Huh, not enough, little punk. That the third Raikage's fist came at him again. Uchiha Jing chuckled. You barbarians can't fight without trash-talking. Bastard. Thunder crackled as the third Raikage aimed a finger, *3 books in hand, star. Uchiha Jing raised his fingers, forming a seal with one hand. A gorgeous, bright red flame snaked around obstacles, flowing in front of him like water, * flame release. Crimson lotus prison robe, star. The moment the super-piercing Sanbon candy touched the fire, it was yanked upward by some unseen force. What the hell is this? The third Raikage snapped his hand back, his lightning armor now dotted with burning spots of bright red fire that devoured his chakra, and a chill that went straight to the bone. Cold fire, that the third Raikage wasn't about to rush in blind. He jumped back, separating the flame along with some of his chakra. He wasn't dumb enough to survive the war if he was reckless. He frowned at the dancing flames. The shape was similar to the Two-Tails flame, but with an added chill. It was fire, but it had the force-relieving effect of water release. More than that. The third Raikage felt a clear sense of danger. Being tagged by this stuff would definitely be bad news. The flames flowed slowly around Uchiha Jing's body, like a long robe made of fire. Melting chakra mode. Hick, this is flame release. Swish, swish *. The Cloud Village ninja arrived right behind. Jiraiya was instantly by Uchiha Jing's side, frowning. The Raikage, himself. I got the others out of here. This fight's way above their pay grade. Kami, I'm summoning Gamaken to help you out. Give me a sec, I need to go into Sage mode. Uchiha Jing glanced at Jiraiya and calmly said, okay, show me what you got. After thinking for a sec, he added, Inoki's here too. Watch out for his dust release. What? Jiraiya's eyes widened. The Raikage was bad enough, but that Sachikage too? What is this, some kind of joke? Why aren't they going after the old man? He's the Hokage. Did you see him? Which way did Inoki go? Uchiha Jing shook his head. He's hiding. I only caught his chakra for a second. He was lying. Inoki was too experienced to make a rookie mistake like that, and why did Uchiha Jing know? Because he was the one who tipped off that Sachikage and Raikage about himself, that led to this assassination attempt. Boom, star. Thunderblade. Star, Killer Bee, covered in red chakra, and AI surrounded him from the front and back, their arms swung like guillotines. Uchiha Jing leaped up, kicking them both away. The fierce battle picked up again. Ninjas weren't about one-on-one duels, so the third Raikage and the others teamed up on Uchiha Jing. They moved so fast they were just blurs, with sonic booms and shockwaves rattling the air. Uchiha Jing was at a disadvantage, but he didn't flinch, and he didn't try to run. Pang. Star. A big crimson toad with U-shaped lines on its face jumped into the fight to defend Uchiha Jing. Gamaken. Protect mirror. Jiraiya yelled, vanishing into the jungle. He needed to summon the toad sages and go into sage mode, which took time. Understood. I'm not the most graceful, but I'll do my best to protect you. Between the medicinal baths and training, Uchiha Jing's body was now about 16 or 17 years old. Ninjas have limits. Someone talented like Kakashi only gained experience and developed new ninjutsu as an adult, but there wasn't any essential improvement. The Uchiha's power came from their eyes, unless there were special circumstances. His body had reached its limit. Normally, you'd have to build strength over time. Like Might Guy, human energy is limited, and Uchiha Jing knew he had to focus on the Sharingan. He couldn't go all in on physical skills like Might Guy. Uchiha Jing's real strength was his spirit, so powerful he could fight off even old Madara's illusions. He easily beat Fugaku's illusion world. He was already at the top of the ninja world, a Kage-level talent that others could only dream of. He even had an edge over Kages who weren't well-rounded, like Raza, or Fugaku after unlocking the Mangekyo. If he wanted to get stronger, there was a clear path from the original timeline. Sasuke and Naruto would be the strongest in the ninja world. With the dragon vein, Uchiha Jing could copy Sasuke's Susanoo. With Sukuna and his own ultimate spiritual energy, he could unlock a Mangekyo with endless power, but it was a shame, that road had a clear end in sight. Even with all the stats maxed out, he'd only be as strong as Sasuke. With the eternal Mangekyo and Sage Mode boost, the Otsutsuki were coming. That kind of power wouldn't be enough, even if we didn't consider the future crisis. Uchiha Jing didn't want a path with a foreseeable end. Right now, he was like a barrel, with half a meter representing his body and 50 meters representing his spirit. He wanted to cut down the high side and fill in the low side. Then, as his spiritual energy grew, the barrel would grow uniformly. That was a path without end. The key was technique reversal. No, a version of technique reversal evolved for the chakra system. Studying it alone would take too long, but that's okay. The Uchiha were the world's chosen ones. The eye reflected the soul. The Mangekyo each Uchiha unlocked wasn't fixed. It reflected their strongest desire. That was a gift. The Mangekyo wasn't a cursed power, it was a gift from the gods. It was a chance to break the limits. Gamaken's defense and Uchiha Mirror were holding off Raikage and the others. They couldn't win, but it was a stalemate that was turning into a long fight. Uchiha Jing frowned. This wasn't what he wanted. If Jiraiya went into Sage Mode, they might actually win. Oanoki, what are you waiting for? Asterisk swish. Star. Suddenly, 3 figures appeared on the battlefield. Namake's Minato. Mirror. We're here. Kushina had calmed down a little, but she still looked upset. When she saw Uchiha Jing, she forced herself to look around. Kumogakure. How annoying. I'm only saying this because I'm really angry right now. Uchiha Jing shrugged off the Raikage and ran toward Namake's Minato and his companions, the 3 Magatama in his eyes spinning like crazy. Things were a little off, but it could be fixed. No. Maybe things were even better now. From far away, a beam of pure white light shot out. Asterisk dust release. Star. Uchiha Jing deliberately reached out, adjusting his position. The pure white light destroyed his arm. Mirror. Namake's Minato had just teleported 2 people from a long distance and used the Flying Thunder God multiple times, which consumed a lot of chakra, and he didn't have time to save Uchiha Kagami. He also couldn't resist the illusion cast by Uchiha Kagami. Minato. Kushina caught Minato as he fell forward, completely confused. The Magatama in Uchiha Kagami's eyes spun, and Uchiha Madara's surging power poured out. It resonated with the 9 tails inside Kushina. Kushina, already emotionally unstable, had Magatama appear in her eye sockets, and streams of chakra overflowed. The suppressed roar of the beast, Kyubi, cold sweat dripped down Orochimaru's forehead. He was having a lot of thoughts right now. Was this a plot by Uchiha Kagami, Kumogakure, and Iwagakure? Were they trying to kill us? The Uchiha really rebelled. Danzo was right. Orochimaru, get Minato out of here. Uchiha Kagami's voice cut through his thoughts. Under the moonlight, Uchiha Kagami, with blood dripping from his arm, had an insane smile on his face. Next. Sukuna. Change. Chapter 66 Sukuna vs. Ninetail. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Spiritual space. The black ceiling spear was slowly extracted, unleashing a wave of pure evil. Asterisk thump star. Sukuna pulled himself free, not immediately seizing Kagami Uchiha's body. The towering, 2-faced, 4-armed death god stood before Kagami. I'll create a death realm to help you fix your body. Trying to master the reversal technique this way? Think you've got the time? Kagami smiled faintly. Experience is the best teacher. I'd rather learn firsthand than listen to your crap. Sukuna looked up, a grimace on his face. Don't think you can control everything. If I don't get out, your body is toast. And if you die, I'm free from this seal. Relax, Sukuna. I'll make sure to take you with me when I go, Kagami said, still smiling. Sukuna grew agitated. He hated that attitude. How dare anyone speak to him like that? Little brat, looking down on me. Up close, intense ferocity blazed in Sukuna's 4 eyes. Worst case scenario, we die together. You think I'm scared of death? Of course, that's a possibility. Kagami's smile widened. But it's just the risk of dying. I'm not dumb enough to want power without any risk. Sukuna, your choice, die here with me. Let's see what happens. Watch me master the reversal technique first. You should focus on adapting to the chakra and finding a way to break my seal. A twisted grin spread across Sukuna's demonic face. Little ghost, you know me too well. Just wait. I'd rather see your face when you fail than kill you now. So you understand. My curse is far worse than yours. Outside, the nine-tailed fox's chakra surged, creating ripples and a terrifying pressure. The chakra around Kushina had formed 6 tails, a skeletal frame taking shape, then, 7, 8, flesh and blood began to weave. What the, just happened? The sudden shift caught Jiraiya off guard, unable to complete his technique. Orochimaru, carrying Minato Namikaze, shouted, "Idiot, forget it. Get out of here. Something bad is coming." "I know, Nine Tails." Jiraiya said grimly. "Then you can't leave. I want my students to see the cool side of their teacher. Orochimaru, take Minato. I need to figure this out." Jiraiya clasped his hands, gathering chakra, *snap, Orochimaru stopped him, shouting, "Idiot. As the 4th Hokage, I order you to evacuate. The real threat is the monster inside Kagami Uchiha." Jiraiya stared at his hands, then at Orochimaru. "You said. What did you say?" Orochimaru passed him, a hint of crystal trailing behind. "Old man, he might not be coming back. Kagami Uchiha's behavior is suspicious. I'd bet he betrayed Konoha. We need to preserve our strength and deal with what's coming." Orochimaru's gloomy demeanor vanished. The venomous snake had transformed. Inoki and the 4 tails and 5 tails met up with the Reikage. "That's the 9-tailed fox." They stared at the monstrous beast, speechless. The 9 tails hadn't been seen since Mito sealed it away. Even Kushina only borrowed chakra, her form resembling other Jinchuriki. That's why Inoki mistook her for the 9 tails Jinchuriki. But now, this monster was growing a 9th tail, its red chakra forming an outer layer, that level of chakra. "The 9 tails is the strongest, no doubt." Killer Bee's tone changed. "Reikage, you can't beat him. And, his anger is overwhelming him. He won't listen to me at all. You're the 8 tails." "Yep." Bee's anger subsided, replaced by calm. Inoki gathered white light in his palm, saying coldly, "Perfect. The plan worked. The 9-tailed fox went berserk. Konoha brought the 9 tails here. We got lucky. Wait until the 9 tails crushes that punk, then we seal it and kill the Jinchuriki." Hatred burned in the 9 tails' pupils. He saw Kagami in the black mist, remembering that night decades ago. No mistake, that's Madara Uchiha's power. He's back. Madara. A deafening roar, the shockwave uprooted trees for miles, cracking the ground. "I'm going to kill you." Huge claws swiped at the black mist, creating a hurricane. Inoki lowered his hand, looking at the Reikage. "Let's back up a bit and talk. That kid, he's really Madara's reincarnation. The 9 tails wouldn't be wrong." Inoki suspected it, but wasn't sure. "Just watch for now, escape if needed." The black mist exploded, *clang, a monster's blade caught the 9 tails' claws. The giant, eyeless monster had 4 wings, a tail attached to its head, and rudder-like wheels on its head and back. Its right arm held a bandaged sword, the 8-sword divine general, Maharaga, the strongest Shikigami of the 10 Shadows technique. The sword blocking the 9 tails was the Demon Slayer sword, wrapped in positive cursed energy. Like the reversal technique, it turns cursed spirits to ash. Ineffective? You're not a cursed spirit, after all. The voice was Kagami's, but different enough to be noticeable. Kagami was reckless, yet maintained a connection, crazy, but composed. This voice had no boundaries, unrestrained. "I alone am the honored one." The black mist dissipated, black lines covering Kagami's body. his pupils returning to black, another pair of eyes opened beneath his own, no real change in appearance, how to explain, looking at Kagami, you sense disdain, Sukuna, didn't see you as human, men, women, old people, children, equally insignificant, just food, broken arms healed, woven with flesh and blood, Sukuna adapted to the chakra quickly. He was strong overall, but excelled at comprehension. This body, really. It really is. Perfect, that he couldn't contain his insane laughter, this joy, the feeling of being able to do anything, better than his original body. Worthy of a legendary bloodline. Well done, Kagami Uchiha. He looked up at the Nine Tails, though he wanted to fight the beast, his newly formed hand made a seal unlike any ninja world technique. Sukuna, call me that. Nine-tailed demon fox. Let me tame you. Domain expansion. Malevolent shrine. Chapter 67 Who, Surrender. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Above the still sea, a downpour of blood suddenly began, a bizarre shrine materialized from nothing, enormous, jagged teeth jutted from the shrine's apex, radiating malevolence. The steps, crafted from what looked like cow bone corpses, descended into the gloom. Demon subduer, kitchen master. Unlike typical enclosed spaces, this was a compact domain. Sukuna considered himself part of the living world. Simply put, Sukuna designated this area as his kitchen. Within it, food would be continuously minced, as if on a cutting board. He had two distinct types of slashing attacks, dismantle for standard cuts, and cleave, which would sever a target based on disparities in cursed energy. Basically, dismantle was like using a kitchen knife for constant chopping. Cleave, on the other hand, was the bone saw. Once charged, it guaranteed a bone-deep cut. The trade-off for allowing free entry and exit was a massive slashing range spanning 400 meters in diameter. That was then. Sukuna's cursed energy now surged with newfound intensity. Gazing at the 100-meter-tall Nine Tails, Sukuna casually shattered his former limits, expanding his domain to a full kilometer in diameter. Within this zone, soil, rocks, even colossal trees, all were shredded to bits. Boom! The Nine Tails swatted Maharaga away and unleashed a torrent of scorching chakra. Wish, 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 wish. The invisible slashes flew relentlessly, dispersing the chakra and pummeling the Nine Tails' claws. Tzz. The barrage barely scratched the surface before the wounds instantly healed. The Nine Tails swung its massive tail, threatening to tear the sky and crack the earth. The so-called indiscriminate, endless slashing, completely ineffective. Sukuna focused his attacks, but the outcome remained the same. Even if he managed a small cut, it couldn't compete with the Nine Tails' rapid regeneration. Do I have to use cleave? Just a moment. Sukuna moved within the demon subduer kitchen, avoiding a direct confrontation. He was loath to injure this body, not out of affection, but because any damage would force him to use reversal techniques, exactly what that brat wants. Boom! Maharaga, wielding the sword of extermination, intercepted another attack to shield Sukuna. Again and again it was hurled away, only to return, unflinching in its duty. Maharaga's greatest strength was its ability to adapt to any phenomenon. Each rotation of the wheel behind its head signified a completed adaptation. Sustaining repeated blows accelerated the process. After weathering several attacks from the Nine Tails, it was nearly accustomed to them. After that, the Nine Tails' claw strikes would be futile. The only way to defeat Maharaga was to use a technique it had never encountered to obliterate it in one swift strike. Thwack! A colossal tail crashed down, nearly pulverizing Maharaga. Sukuna's expression flickered. This is one hell of a monster. Its energy dwarfs mine. Heh, but the time Maharaga and Fushiguro had bought was enough for Sukuna to tap into the chakra within Uchiha Kagami's body. An utterly foreign energy. So, this is what energy with both positive and negative attributes feels like. Incredible. Being sealed in this world might not be so bad after all. Now, Nine-tailed demon fox, submit. Sukuna channeled the chakra, focusing it into his eye sockets. He knew the Sharingan was particularly effective against creatures like this. Eyes surpassing the 6 eyes, let me sample your essence. Brute force. Why bother when there's an easier way? Uchiha Kagami, that punk is the real problem. Since you dared to release me, don't even think about sealing me again. Chakra surged, but nothing happened. His pupils remained black. What the hell? Die! A furious roar repelled the unseen slash, and Maharaga was blasted away. Splat. The Ninetales' claws pierced Uchiha Kagami's body. Sukuna registered the pain, realized what had happened, and tried again. Still nothing. Where's the Sharingan? That massive Tomo Sharingan. What did you do, Uchiha Kagami? Within the mental landscape, Uchiha Kagami sat cross-legged atop the dragon vein in front of the sealed door, propping up his chin with a faint smile. Turns out being a sealed evil spirit can be pretty interesting. Listen up, Sukuna. I'm lending you my body, not letting you take over. Be a good sport and take the beating. Show off your reversal technique. I'll keep you in check. Bastard. Sukuna roared and slashed with all his might, severing the Ninetales' claws. He retreated, creating distance. The gaping wound on his chest began to rapidly close. Sukuna's face was a mask of fury, as if he'd been forced to throw a game. He hissed through gritted teeth. If you dare restrict me, the worst that can happen is that the nine-tailed fox kills me. Let's drop the charade. We don't care about life or death, only victory, right? Come on, Sukuna, find a way to break the seal while battling the Ninetales. Sukuna tried to sever Kagami's sensory connection to their shared mindscape, just as Kagami had done to him. The attempt failed. Predictably, Sukuna suddenly understood why he and this guy had crossed space and time. The heart demon, Uchiha Kagami, you are my trial, and I am yours. Which of us will conquer the other? Who will ascend to godhood? The Ninetales watched silently, familiar. It vaguely remembered Uchiha Madara controlling it and tormenting Hashirama Senju in the same way. After tearing out the claws, Hashirama Senju regenerated almost instantly. Are you, descendants of Uchiha and Senju? Did he choose to reincarnate into such a body because he was defeated by Hashirama Senju? Whatever, Sukuna, Kagami, Madara, think you can fool me? I'll crush you right here. Then I'll slaughter everyone in Konoha. Ultimate Yin-Yang Chakra began to coalesce before the Ninetales. The resulting black orb was already over 50 meters in diameter. Back away a little. Anoki floated into the air, indulging in the spectacle of Konoha's internal conflict. The Eight Tails spoke within Killer Bee's mind. Can't reason with an enraged Ninetales, no need to join this fight right now. Hearing the Eight Tails, Killer Bee glanced at Ice eyes were locked on the still-standing third Raikage. Pull your squad back a bit. The third Raikage addressed them without turning around, his voice low. I'll watch for an opening. If I get the chance, I'll use the amber purifying pot to seal them. Father, is it really necessary to take such a risk? It seemed, he could glimpse the third Raikage smile. Alright. I admit it. I just want to fight a monster like this. Just let me be reckless for once. This thing feels dangerous. Sukuna regained his composure, drawing back his hands as if aiming an arrow. The searing heat evaporated the surrounding moisture. Only after mastering dismantle and cleave could he take this step. Firing, no need for fancy words. For Sukuna, strength was simply a tool for preparing a meal. Flames gathered at his fingertips. No need to test a monster like this. Boom. The tailed beast bomb came hurtling forward. The flaming arrow shot out. Chapter 68 Evolution, Eternal Eye Power. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A bottomless abyss ripped open the earth. Deep inside, Sukuna clung to the stone wall with one hand, half his body mangled. The nine-tailed fox sprawled at the cave entrance, half its face scorched. Both monsters were regenerating at an alarming rate. Sukuna's brow furrowed. He couldn't fight the nine-tailed fox head-on. His cursed energy was practically limitless. Running out wasn't an option. If it were just the Ninetales, Sukuna would grind it down. With Maharaga in the mix, he'd eventually adapt to the Ninetales' power, but his opponent was Uchiha Kagami. If he got hurt again and had to use the reverse technique, and Kagami learned it first, Sukuna knew Uchiha Kagami had total control over this body and could take over again at any moment. What to do? He had to figure out how to convert cursed energy into chakra. Only chakra could break that damn seal. Uchiha Kagami's body still held a lot of chakra. Sukuna tapped into it, dissecting it, studying it closely, Sukuna's talent was undeniable, even with Maharaga's help. Comprehending the space cleave during the fight with Gojo Satoru proved that, could he make a deal, accelerate his understanding of Chakra's secrets. Worth a shot, again, failure. Predictable, the moonlight at the cave entrance vanished. An unholy amount of energy was gathering. The Nine Tails, facing the abyss, unleashed a tailed beast ball. Sukuna raised a hand and unleashed 8 cuts, a desperate attempt to stop the tailed beast ball. Sukuna was still relying on cursed power, a different beast from Chakra. The one-strike break didn't work on the tailed beast ball, a pure energy construct. It was like a cannonball stripped of its explosive charge, leaving only raw impact force and hardness. Buying himself a few seconds, Sukuna used the blocked-tailed beast ball opportunity to claw deeper into the earth. If he didn't fight, he wouldn't get hurt. He'd hide, analyze the chakra, and then kill them all. Crack! Sukuna's burrowing stopped abruptly. He was being pulled, his movements out of control. This time, Sukuna didn't waste energy on rage. He threw everything at analyzing the chakra. It wasn't hard for Kagami to pick up the reverse technique. The kid's goal was to use the reverse technique to convert cursed energy into chakra. That's exactly what he was trying to do, too, and Kagami needed to learn the entire process of the reverse technique, whereas Sukuna didn't. Time to see what he could do. He would be the winner. Boom boom boom. The nine-tailed fox rained down tailed beast balls. It sensed Uchiha Kagami's life force. As long as that bastard lived, the nine-tailed fox wouldn't stop, combining the power of Hashirama Senju and the Sharingan, Uchiha Madara. He'd never let that happen. Pang! Maharaga burst from the earth. Sukuna used the 10 Shadows technique to summon other Shikigami, like Nu and Toad, colossal creatures. The Shikigami helped absorb the tailed beast ball barrage. Whenever they were overwhelmed, Sukuna stepped in. He had to keep Maharaga from being vaporized in one shot. The nine-tailed demon fox's attack was simple, which gave Sukuna a sliver of comfort. If the fox was as smart as he was and figured out Maharaga's ability, a focused blast could finish him. Even if Maharaga could be resummoned, there was no guarantee it wouldn't be damaged in the process. Kyuubi's fighting style was all brute force, a turret with unlimited ammo, blasting the landscape to hell. Groundwater seeped into the abyss. Sukuna kept his domain active, cutting off any stray energy from disrupting him. Suddenly, Sukuna looked up. The tailed beast ball barrage had stopped. Was the chakra gone? It shouldn't be. It was too soon to run out. Whatever, he needed to focus. Above the abyss, lightning bolts staggered Kyuubi. Nine-tailed fox, enough with the tantrum. The third Raikage's massive form stood on the ravaged ground. That guy has to be dead. Keep this up, and you'll reshape the land of lightning. He was itching for a fight. Since becoming Raikage, he'd suppressed his instincts. He had too much to lose. I had grown up, and had a brother named Killerbee. The younger generation in the village would surpass him, but right now, he just wanted a good fight. Slash! Azure lightning split the earth. He severed the incoming claws in a single strike. Idiot! You don't get it. That guy isn't dead. I am eliminating future disasters for the ninja world. The Kyuubi roared, unwilling to communicate with humans. He decided that after killing everyone in Konoha, he'd move on to Kyumogakure. Swish! A white light descended from the sky and obliterated one of the nine tails. Inoki's hair and beard flowed in the wind as he chuckled. Kyuubi, tell me, is the reincarnation of Uchiha Madara really dead? Roar. The blast of wind staggered Inoki. The nine-tailed fox wasn't about to explain. Tailed beast balls spewed from its mouth, blanketing the sky. Everything was in range. After wiping out Kyumogakure, Iwagakure would be next. No, he was going to kill all the ninjas. With the Raikage and Tsuchikage's help, most of the tailed beast balls were still aimed at Sukuna, but the pressure was lessened. This went on for hours. A ball of azure light began to coalesce in Sukuna's palm. Mental energy and physical energy. The ideas were starting to coalesce. Sukuna closed his 4 eyes. A massive flow of cursed energy started its conversion into chakra. Bit by bit, spiritual space, the dragon vein trickled through the gap in the sealed door. Uchiha Kagami floated in the dragon vein energy, his eyes shut, the sliver of tailed beast chakra that remained flowed into the dragon vein, toward Uchiha Kagami. Uchiha Kagami's spirit was burned by the tailed beast chakra, then healed itself. The reverse technique, is this how it is? Turning negative energy into positive energy to heal, a tsunami of spiritual energy, strong emotions, extreme yin release, it was the key to unlocking the kaleidoscope. Uchiha Kagami rose to his feet. The dragon vein carried him higher and higher, higher. It seemed there were no boundaries in this spiritual space. Above, a void of deathly silence and darkness, a torrent of darkness descended, the dragon vein energy surged. Uchiha Kagami, caught between the two, slowly opened his eyes. The three tomo spun faster and faster, until they became a blur. Then, one tomo split from the other three, for tomo connected in a spiral, forming 4 diamond patterns in the scarlet pupils, like a dark crown of thorns. A colossal hum, on the earth, the 9 tails, the Tsuchikage, and the Reikage all stopped, as one. All eyes turned toward the abyss. On the horizon, the first ray of sunlight pierced the darkness. A torrent of black and red energy erupted from the abyss. Something was waking up. Chapter 69, Touching the Legend, Breaking the Legend. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Black and red energy swirled around the young man's lean frame, his slightly long, wavy hair and robe stirred even though there was no breeze. His eyes were distant, not focused on anyone in particular. Inoki's clenched fists trembled slightly. Here stood a powerful Tsuchikage, a ninja legend for decades, capable of taking down the 4 tails and 5 tails single-handedly, even facing the 9-tailed fox. He never lacked the guts to fight, but there was one exception, a fear buried deep in his gut, his invincible mentor, whose power evolved into a bloodline unlike anything the ninja world had ever seen. Before him, I'm vulnerable, that power, that crushing aura, it's exactly like Madara Uchiha back then. The 9-tailed fox shared Inoki's dread. From the start, he was convinced Kagami Uchiha was Madara's reincarnation. He tried his damnedest to kill him. If it wasn't for that bitch Kushina, if it wasn't for those 2 damn humans. Unlike the still recovering Inoki, the 9-tailed fox didn't hesitate. A tailed beast ball came roaring out. Kagami Uchiha tilted his head, the 4 diamond markings in his eyes spinning. Then, whoosh, a crescent-shaped slash, crackling with black and red lightning, sliced right through the tailed beast ball. The slash continued with undiminished force, taking off half of the 9-tailed fox's head and sending it flying. Everywhere it went, the air crackled with black and red electricity. Black slash, the slash, amplified by the black lightning, was as strong as Madara Uchiha Susanoo slashes in the infinite Tsukimi. Just like old Madara couldn't use the complete Susanoo in reality, Kagami Uchiha couldn't use black slash in reality, either. It was limited by his body and the fact that no weapon could withstand the power of the black slash, so, he uses the Sharingan as a conduit. This is the first of Kagami Uchiha's Mangekyo Sharingan abilities. Where there's one, there must be another. The second ability of the left eye is yin-yang conversion. The reversal technique doesn't directly transform yin into yang, it's a portrait of the soul, or simply, making a wish. Becoming a Mangekyo means realizing your wish. A huge amount of spiritual energy slowly transformed into yang release chakra, fortifying Kagami Uchiha's body. The limits of his body were being broken. This wouldn't happen overnight. In time, Kagami Uchiha's body would surpass the Senju and Uzumaki, even the Sage of 6 Paths. This is true yin and yang balance. Most importantly, for Tomo won't be the end. I've found a new path. A warm current flowed through his body, reaching every limb. His meridians expanded, blood surged faster, and his bones were being reinforced. In his mindscape, Sukuna's body was dragged towards the sealed gate by chains formed from dragon veins. No curses, no roars, as if he had accepted his fate, but his 4 eyes radiated pure malice. Inoki steeled himself. Pure white beams of light gathered in his palm. What should I call you? Kagami Uchiha, or Madara? Thought the blinding white light, along with the sunrise, was about to engulf the darkness. Ziz Sizip, the black and red slash split the dust release beam in 2, like a hot knife through butter. Kagami Uchiha smiled. I'm too lazy to explain myself to someone as stressed out as you. But I'll introduce myself anyway. I'm a combination of the power of 2 worlds. The strongest slash, housed within the Mangekyo. I call it slash release. From now on, Inoki. Your dust release won't be the only bloodline limit. The lightning in his hand danced like a silver snake, tearing the earth apart in a dazzling display. The nine-tailed fox, having recovered a bit, blasted another tailed beast ball. The two humans and one beast, who were fighting so fiercely before, instantly changed targets. Even the people from Cloud and Stone Village far away were rushing back. Kyubi called Hachiubi back. He even swallowed his pride and contacted the 4 tails and 5 tails. The 8 tails was killed once by Kagami Uchiha, so this was payback for his death. His grudge against Siwei is also pretty big. If there's no chance, that's fine, but now there is nothing he dares not to do in the gang fight. The 5 tails and Kagami Uchiha don't have any grudges against each other, but the 9 tails rarely contacts them, so it is still necessary to drive the Jinchuriki to help. Kagami Uchiha carefully felt the changes in his body, using part of his mind to control the dragon vein to pull Sukuna. Resealing Sukuna was harder than releasing him. Dragon veins exist for this purpose. Sukuna's strength grew in sync with Kagami Uchiha's. No, I should say, Kagami Uchiha was able to possess his current huge spiritual energy by borrowing Sukuna, a negative energy collector. After batting the tailed beast ball away, he turned to the third raikage. Kagami Uchiha raised his hand and laughed. A spear that can break anything, an indestructible shield. Let's break that legend of yours. A clash of thunder. The strongest spear, and the strongest slash, who wins? Thump, star. The next moment, the answer came. A heavily muscled arm fell to the ground. Raikage. Inoki instantly arrived and lifted up the third raikage with the shattered arm. Boom, star. The tailed beast ball came again. Kagami Uchiha frowned at the 9 tails. You're being too loud, Kyubi. The kaleidoscope pattern in his right eye began to spin. Crimson ripples started to spread silently. The first ability for the right eye, Crimson Demon. Kagami Uchiha's strongest desire is to balance yin and yang and to tame Sukuna. The ability of Jiang-Mo is complete control. Once the mark is made, only a small amount of chakra output needs to be maintained to maintain control. This is also for the subsequent collection of tailed beasts as energy reserves. The 9-tailed fox froze, a hint of black and red appearing in its fierce pupils. When its eyes are completely covered, you belong to me. Kyubi. Click. Kagami Uchiha suddenly froze. His right eye crack suddenly appeared. The technique abruptly stopped. In his mindscape, Sukuna laughed like a maniac. Kagami Uchiha. Who do you think I am? I am the curse that pulls the sky down. I am your trial. You think I haven't been doing anything? Don't try to tame me. Don't underestimate me, you bastard. Sukuna tore at the blue-purple chains with his 4 arms, his expression insane. Ha 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 ha. Feeling frustrated. Show me your ugly side. Kagami Uchiha. Kagami Uchiha put his hand over his right eye and focused, a complex spell structure, intertwined with chakra, like a seal. It wasn't destroyed, just temporarily unusable. The corners of his mouth curved upward. It's a pity we didn't get a complete victory. But, that's all. Sukuna, what do you think I'll do? Hate you, curse you. He shook his head slightly. Things in the world never go as planned. I'm glad you still have some fight in you. That way, when I truly conquer you, I'll feel a sense of accomplishment. His right eye faded, becoming colorless and dim. Kagami Uchiha opened his arms, embracing the world. Facing the barrage of attacks, he remained perfectly calm. Chapter 70, Seizing Konoha. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The sun rises, the moon sets. After a full day, the battlefield's chaos slowly died down. A little ways off, a small white snake slithered into the rocks. Inside a cave, people huddled around a campfire. Jiraiya had managed to break Minato Namike's illusion, but the strain of using so much chakra and the mental impact of the illusion had left Minato unconscious. A small snake slid in from the cave entrance and disappeared into Orochimaru's sleeve. What's the situation? Jiraiya asked, looking defeated. He tried to help Uchiha Kagami repeatedly, but Orochimaru, clearly annoyed, had threatened Minato's life. They weren't far from the main battlefield, and Jiraiya knew the fighting should be over. Orochimaru's pupils narrowed, and he frowned. Yeah. Uchiha Kagami, he won. He had received the images from the white snake. It was hard to believe the level of power a ninja could reach. The tailed beasts, feared by everyone, were helpless against those eyes. The Cloud Village's elite troops were no better than ordinary genin on that battlefield. In the end, the armless third Raikage covered the retreat of his remaining men, died fighting. Inoki lost his legs. The Five-Tails Jinchuriki sacrificed his life to allow Lao Zi to carry Inoki to safety. The Nine-Tailed Fox was sealed again. This was unbelievable. Could a human really do that? It reminded him of the first Hokage the old man used to talk about. Orochimaru quickly regained his composure. He bit his finger and pressed it to the ground. A green python, as thick as a bowl, appeared. This was the snake he'd left at the Kanabi Bridge, ordered to gather information and return to Ryuchi Cave to await contact. Before, Orochimaru hadn't wanted to know what was happening. Minato was still out cold, so the information wouldn't have mattered anyway, but now, he had to know the old man's condition to decide what to do next. The green snake spoke in human language. Lord Orochimaru, you should brace yourself. Orochimaru wasn't the only one whose heart skipped a beat. Jiraiya felt it too. Green snake, the old man is dead. The green snake paused. After the battle, the stone village, with its overwhelming numbers, caused heavy casualties for Konoha. To cover the remaining Konoha ninjas' retreat, the third Hokage faced the 14,000 stone ninja alone. For a full day and night, until just 2 hours before you summoned me. He died fighting. After suffering huge losses, the stone village also began to retreat. The war there is over. I see. Old man, you sure knew how to go out in style. Orochimaru didn't seem particularly sad. It's okay, teacher, I'll bring you back from the Pure Land, and those others, As you instructed, I retrieved a piece of the third Hokage's flesh. The green snake spat out a chunk of flesh wrapped in mucus, and with a burst of spiritual power, it returned to Longdi Cave. Though cold-blooded, it understood human feelings. Lingering would be impolite. Orochimaru, what are you planning? Orochimaru stood, clutching the flesh, his voice low. I'm going back to Konoha. I'm going to become the fourth Hokage. Get ready, for the Uchiha clan war. Jiraiya struggled, but couldn't hold back any longer. Kagami doesn't want to hurt the village. Why do you have such a deep prejudice against the Uchiha, just like the old man and the others? Orochimaru gave Jiraiya a long look. Go travel, Jiraiya, he said flatly. Find your prophesied child. Jiraiya still couldn't let go. Has Kagami ever hurt anyone in the village? We can still talk this out. The Uchiha have incredible power. If they're given the respect they deserve. You're still so naive, Jiraiya. Can't you see that even the Hokage position wouldn't satisfy Uchiha Kagami's hunger? Orochimaru stared out of the cave. This is a battle of ideals. The village the old man gave his life to can't be handed over to the Uchiha. But enough. I'm going to be the Hokage, not you. On the ravaged earth, limbs and debris lay scattered. Blood flowed in the cracks of the rocks. Uchiha Kagami tore off his shredded shirt, and the wounds on his body began to heal with incredible speed. He formed hand seals and summoned the giant eagle. He grabbed the unconscious Kushina by the collar and threw her onto the eagle's back. Then, Uchiha Kagami leaped onto the eagle himself. A piercing cry echoed through the sky as it flew east. On the eastern front, Uchiha clan members across the region received a special message from the clan. They dropped whatever they were doing and gathered together. This couldn't be hidden from Nara Shikahisa, the Eastern Front commander. He sent word to the village, reporting the situation, and ordered Hinata and the other ninjas scattered across the battlefield to regroup. Tension between the Uchiha and the village was nothing new, and conflict could erupt at any moment. Nara Shikaku even suspected that the Uchiha were plotting a rebellion. Noon, a clearing on a cliff. Uchiha Kagami watched his clansmen arrive. Using his eye power, he could gauge the extent of their Sharingan abilities. They waited until evening, when all Uchiha clan members from the Eastern Front had assembled. Of the 700+ who had gone to war, only 300 remained. Few had managed to escape injury-free and return to the village. With so few medical ninjas, an injury on the battlefield often meant death. the Uchiha members didn't speak. The silence was unnerving. Most Uchiha who survived the war had unlocked their Sharingan. Those who hadn't developed their eyes had at least mastered ninjutsu and taijutsu. Every Uchiha had been assigned to the most dangerous positions. The fact that they were still alive spoke volumes. Xuanhua and Yunjian stood behind Uchiha Kagami. They noticed something strange in Uchiha Kagami's right eye but were afraid to ask. "Everyone's here." Uchiha Kagami's cold voice broke the silence. "Now, I issue the first patriarch's order. In 7 days, we take Konoha." In the field, many Uchiha unlocked their Sharingan, overcome with emotion. "You are my clan, and you know our situation. If anyone doesn't want to participate, I'll give you a chance. Leave your eyes behind and leave the Uchiha clan." He finished speaking, for Magatama slowly appeared in Uchiha Kagami's eye sockets, connecting to form a 4-diamond pattern. Incredibly intense pupil power poured out. The air felt like glue, making movement impossible. The oppressive feeling of the sky falling and the earth collapsing weighed on everyone's hearts. They trembled as though they were facing a higher being. Those with the Sharingan could clearly sense the vast difference in pupil power. Without a doubt, this was a legendary Mangekyo. The Uchiha clan's power rivaled that of a god. The pupil power receded, and everyone could breathe again. "Now, those who want to leave, step forward." No one moved. Pairs of blood-red eyes gleamed in the twilight. Our ancestors already made the wrong choice once. This time, the Uchiha would never make that mistake again.